I am Kit Connell, and I am just 100 years old, and I don't feel a day over 80, and I keep very good health. I try to keep my brain active by playing on my Nintendo. My daughter managed to get me one on the internet, and this is the one I am using now, and it's great. It's absolutely super. So I don't know what to do without it. In the evenings, I always play on my Nintendo. It all depends what I do. And then I'll have a break, a cup of tea, and then I'll start on my Nintendo again. And I thought, I'll have a change. I'll see how my brain is. So I tried the one per brain. Now the last one I got, my age of 64, on the word searching. So after that, the brain begins to get a bit adult. For that time it's 10 o'clock, and time I went to bed. So that is what I do in my day. I much prefer to be using my brain. And I find I am very forgetful. I can't remember things the next day. So I try to do these, and it really is helping. And I would suggest that if children had this at school, instead of playing games, to do the maths and the spelling, and it would be wonderful. Because it's been a great help to me. I can't speak highly enough of this Nintendo. It's helped to keep my brain as active as possible at my old age.
Go brain.
Alright, does anyone else have a grandmother who plays her Nintendo games?
No.
No?
I wish.
Alright, she's actually 104 now. She's still alive, a couple years old. Yeah, it definitely goes through. That's Kit Collins from England.
You want to get one?
Alright guys, so what I've got for you, this is a nice small group. The last one was big. Big, and it was hot in here. So it's really nice that we got a nice small group for today. Has anyone been to Game On already?
Yes.
Okay, good. Has anyone not been to Game On yet?
You guys are done.
Okay, so you'll definitely want to check it out after this presentation, for sure. But who wants to make a video game today? So this is a fun presentation. It's all ages. Hope you get some stuff out of it. We've done quite a few of these since Game On has started, and we've changed up a little bit. Sometimes we make Pac-Man. Today we're going to make Galaga. But before we begin, this is me. So my name is Jay Snyder, and I'm technically a dean at a private college in Canada. And yeah, I'm very good at Photoshop, as you can see. Actually, that's not me. Michelle did that. Michelle was over here. She actually did it. I am good at Photoshop too, but I would never do that.
But I would.
In retrospect, Shrek does look a little bit like me. Okay, I've also written lots of textbooks in computer science. I've done some things I'm not proud of. You can see I wrote a book on Windows Vista. And my day job is I taught computer science for 15 years. I now run our 3 tech faculties at TRIAS. We're a private college with 9 locations in Ontario, but I focus only on the tech programs. So anything from industry relations to making the curriculum, keeping them bleeding edge, it's a lot of work. That's what I do during the day. So I live, sleep, eat, and breathe this stuff. I've been a programmer forever. Used to work at Microsoft, believe it or not. Doing Motorola 68070 for Microsoft Word for Mac.
Wow.
After that, anything is easy. Right? But one of our programs is video game programming, and we're actually #1 in Ontario for that. We live, eat, sleep, breathe programming only. And in a typical game shop, 9 out of 10 jobs are for programmers. Yeah. Art and good intentions can't make a video game. Programmers can. So, and that's most of the game development process. So there's a lot of people who are really good at animation and graphic art and design, but unless you're a programmer, you can't do much. There's also lots of math and physics in video game programming. We don't even think in terms of Cartesian space anymore, you know, X, Y, Z. We think in terms of quaternions, because it's a lot easier for an Xbox or some other device to take a vector, an arrow of 3 dimensions, rotate it in 4 dimensions with time. Now, if that doesn't scare you, you might make a good video game program, I don't know. But as a result of us being pretty successful, we helped the Science Center bring Game On from England, the Barbican Center in England, to Canada for the first time. So we're really, really happy to be sponsoring whole purpose here is to encourage people to kind of get into the game industry. Canada has the third largest video game industry in the world. How many people know that? Ontario, this year, is number one.
Wait a
Why?
minute. Would Japan actually have the highest?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I thought so, because some of the old arcade games actually came from Japan.
Yeah, some of the new old arcade games come from there too. It's a weird industry. But yeah, Japanese, a lot of the work that we do even in the US and Canada is done from Japan. But the cool thing is Ontario's number one because of the government. You might never have thought that, right? We have an amazing set of tax credits and incentive programs for interactive and digital media in Ontario. And places like Ubisoft and EA are firing from their Montreal and Vancouver offices and rehiring the same people in Ontario. Because, say, in Montreal, they got 12 cents back for every dollar they paid their developers. In Ontario, they get 40. Vancouver, 17 cents. Ontario, 40. Game companies like to save money. They're all about that. Okay, so we have a great game industry in Ontario. It's growing. The problem is computer science is at an all-time low. I went to school in the 80s. I'm dating myself here. Okay. And in computer science in the 80s, I went to Waterloo, believe it or not, for my undergrad. In the 80s, it was 50-50 men and women. And you had great work. It was fantastic. Since the dot-com bust in 2000, computer science Roman has been doing this across all of North America, universities and colleges. And they've dumbed down the curriculum. Now we're in a bit of a pickle. We need programmers anywhere. So if you want to learn programming, work in any program-related job, there's lots of need for you. We have no problem taking a programmer and saying, hey, yeah, we got some programs for you. I get called all the time from employers and I have to tell them, we don't have anybody yet. Just because they haven't graduated yet. And we don't want them to leave school. So you gotta wait, and you better be fast, because they're snatched up pretty quick, even if they suck.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to understand the dot-com bubble. Could you just give me like a brief summary of that? Because I'm always confused on what that exactly was.
I'm always confused about that was too.
Was it like...
Sometime around 2001, people overspent due to internet optimism, and then they realized that maybe they shouldn't have invested all this money in fictitious companies related to the internet when the economy didn't support it. So that's my simplified definition. I'm sure there's a better one on Wikipedia.
That would actually make sense. Do you think also Adobe Flash websites were partially to blame?
Probably not.
Okay, because I always just imagine it's like so fancy and stuff, and then it's like, you know, why did we do this?
Yeah, perhaps. But if you look at this, guys, how many people have been to Game On? Again, show of hands. Okay, did you notice this just before you entered?
Yeah.
That's our stand. So I've made all these interactive displays with cool game facts. And if you are on Twitter and you follow Science Center, I've also tweeted the answers to the trivia. So if you come back with your friends, you'll know all the answers. And you can look like a god in front of your friends before you can get to that exhibit. All right, guys, I'm going to open up with a really big question. Who knows these two games? Show them out. Just show them out, guys. Don't be shy.
Angry Birds?
Angry Birds and Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. Okay, which one made more money in 2011?
Angry Birds?
Who says Angry Birds? Who says Call of Duty? Oh, that's pretty good. Angry Birds? Oh yeah, Angry Birds definitely has it. Well, Angry Birds is wrong, by the way. Angry Birds was made by a company called Rovio. Rovio had $12 million in revenue in 2011 attached to the Angry Birds game. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 made $1 billion in the first 16 days it was on the market. It was the first game to do that, and now that's the standard for big AAA game titles. The difference is Call of Duty, 400 people, 2 years to make. Angry Birds, 6 people, 8 months to make. Per person, which one's more profitable? Oh yeah. But what I want to demonstrate is that the game industry is weird. It goes from very, very small to very, very big, very, very quickly. And the reason that we have that kind of diversity today is we have more games than ever before. Now, who knows what the first game is from Game On over on the left-hand side there?
Space Invaders.
Space Invaders. What year did it come out? Anyone know?
1980.
You're very close.
1978. 79.
Yeah, you kind of gave away. 1978 is the right answer. Is that what you're going to say too? Okay, well, at least you're honest. You should say yes, oh yeah.
Just one question. Is that Honeydew from the series Yogscast, the Minecraft series that was done in
No.
YouTube?
No.
Because that's exactly what the character looks like.
No, I just got it from the internet. That's not what it is. That's just Minecraft. But the cool thing is if you look back over here from Space Invaders started the industry. Wait a second. You've been to Game On. There's stuff before Space Invaders, right? What is that stuff? That's Pong. Before Space Invaders, we had Pong. To my mother, Pong will always be the quintessential video game. Whenever I work on a new game, I've got 4 published titles. Whenever I work on another mobile game, she always says, oh, is that like Pong? It's tragic. Right? But the cool thing is Pong was great. We had home consoles, Pong was everywhere. But in 1978, Taito made Space Invaders. And suddenly you were defending the Earth against aliens with background music. And after 8 billion quarters were chewed up worldwide, popularizing the game worldwide, everyone started making games. Nintendo, which was a card company for 100 years before they started making games. Sega, Service Games, a vending machine company in Honolulu. Right? Sega, Service Games. Taito, Konami, I could go on forever. Everyone started making video games after Space Invaders. They still make trading cards today.
Wasn't Square Enix kind of that too?
I don't know.
Because
Never heard that. Yeah. But if you look up here, guys, notice something that's happened. This we keep on going past Pac-Man, Street Fighter, all the way up to Skyrim. Year after year, games since Space Invaders have been getting better graphics because to a game company, better graphics was guaranteed sales. But what about today? What are those 2 games? Angry Birds and
Minecraft.
How many people like Minecraft in this room?
Like
Every
Minecraft?
kid should be putting up their hand, right? I even like it. I love making redstone circuits in Minecraft. I even made a computer in it too. It's really cool.
Did you see the iPhone version of Minecraft?
You
No.
played for hours.
Yeah,
I wish I could get it, but I've never been able to get it on PC.
Well, I'm sure that something will be available soon. But here's the cool thing, guys. The reason we have those games without the great graphics at the end is because we have more games than ever before. We play them on our computers and our smartphones. We play them on our consoles, right? And anyone can make games today. 20 years ago, if I wanted to make a game, I had to knock on the doorstep of Ubisoft or EA or some big gaming company that had a retail chain where they could sell games in Walmart or other places, right? Because that's how you bought games 20 years ago. And I'd knock on the door and say, I've got a great game idea. And they'd say, get lost, kid. We all have good ideas and ours make money. Now, if I have a great game idea, I can make the game myself. These guys make games. You know who they are?
There are cookies in the basement.
Fez and Super Meat Boy. Yeah, Phil Fish from Montreal. He's very widely known for putting his foot in his mouth on the internet. And that's Edward McMillan, who and his friend Tommy made Super Meat Boy. Great games. 1 guy, 2 guys. Whoa, wait a second. Did they need EA or Ubisoft? No, because how do they get games to their players? Xbox Live, Apple App Store, Steam. We get games over the internet now. Digital distribution has allowed anyone to make games. So if you're a programmer, and you got even just a little bit of art skill, because Minecraft doesn't need a lot of art, right? You can make games. And games today are focusing on gameplay. There's games I don't like to play. There's games I love to play that other people don't like to play, vice versa. Right? I mean, I love Minecraft, but I hate the journey. Right? This game, almost all AAA publishers said, that game will never be successful. What is that game? Minecraft. They were wrong, by the way. It's hugely successful only because the gameplay is awesome. It doesn't really matter about the graphics. We have a smorgasbord of games to choose from today. And indie game development, independent game development, is really what drives the game industry today, not the AAA publishers. They're still there. They're still going to make lots of money, which they do really well at. But we are in a different game industry today. And you guys can make games too. I'm going to prove that today. And at the end of today, I'm going to give you a link to the free game software prototyping tool, the files, and the step-by-step instructions so you can do this at home. And for parents, that means your kids can spend all weekend doing it while you relax just before school. The game we're going to make is Galaga. Who's seen Galaga game? So everyone, if you ask everyone what their favorite game is, you get different answers, but Galaga is usually like the most common. It's probably the most famous arcade game of all time. And that's what the machine looks like in Game On, and you have a little ship that goes left and right on the screen and shoots up only. You gotta shoot these space bugs, these Galaga space bugs.
Don't forget the part where the spaceship gets abducted and then you use your extra guy to free him and then
And
you
you
can
get
make
double
2
shift.
shoots.
Yeah, we'll do that today too. Who wants to do some double shifts today?
Huh? Sorry,
Yeah,
can't
we'll do
hear.
double shifts today. Then you have double fire, right? So if you get captured by an alien and you free your ship, you actually get 2 ships in Galaga, and they go back and forth together and they shoot double fire. That's one of the coolest features of Galaga, right? It's very easy to do, and it doesn't require any more effort from your game program. You'll see why. So there's all sorts of stuff. Now, I'm going to put this up at the end as well, but if you want to take a picture of it now, you can. You do not need to use Twitter. However, Twitter is the only tool used to communicate by game designers. Like game programmers, the whole game industry only communicates via Twitter. That's it. All right, but if you go to twitter.com, so you don't have to have a Twitter account, just go to twitter.com, it's a website, or put Twitter in Google and click on it. Be at the top page. Go to twitter.com, search for Game on Science. Tonight at about 10 o'clock when I get home, I will post a tweet with Galaga presentation, and there'll be a link, one URL, one link to everything you need. Pretty cool, eh?
Okay.
I always like to give people stuff to take home, because there's no way we could make all of Galaga in 45 minutes, and 45 minutes is pretty much the limit you want to do because people fall asleep after that. Our attention span as humans is terrible. But you'll see some really cool stuff today. So we're going to make Galaga. Who's ready? All right, on that note, guys, I'm going to close this down, and I'm going to shut off the lights there.
Sorry, I just want to ask you one question.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure I got this. I'm just putting 10 o'clock Twitter. I took a picture of your link thing.
Now I'm going to put it on again at the end too, right? So if you missed it.
No, it's fine. I said I took a picture.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I was just nervous about missing it.
Okay, no, you're right, Don't worry. And if
Are
you
you
do
getting
miss
a
it,
sheet of paper with
if you go to Twitter and you just post a message to the Ontario Science Centre, like, where's that Galaga link? I'll reply right away.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I have that as on my tweet deck, so I'll see it and I'll
Cool.
reply to you.
Well, so I can put in the number, the £, then game on something or other,
Game on Science, yeah.
and then you can probably find it there.
Yep, that's the quickest way to find it, or you can just search for the Ontario Science Centre, and very easy to navigate. But don't worry, if you haven't used Twitter, it's really easy.
Sorry, I don't want to keep interrupting you.
That's okay. And if worse comes to worse, you just don't want to do Twitter, come up and get my card at the end of this. I brought some today for the first time ever. We had a question over here. Did you have a question? No? Okay, you just had your hand up? Good. Okay, so on that note, guys, I've got some stuff for you, but to start, let's open up GameMaker. Now, GameMaker is a prototyping tool. We don't actually make games with GameMaker. You can actually make a game with GameMaker, and you can publish it for iPhone and iPad. But you have to pay GameMaker $500 for that. If you're going to make money from it, they're going to make money from it. So just get the free version for Mac or PC. That's all I have. And GameMaker is a very, very widely used prototyping tool. Now, when I say prototyping, if you have a great idea and you want to take that idea over to your company and say, hey, there's this really cool game I want to make, and you describe that game to them, their eyes will gloss over and they'll say, yeah, okay. People don't like to hear about a game. They want to play a mock-up version of it to kind of get the feel, the experience. So GameMaker is a very good way of making a game, a fully functional game, very quickly without any programming lines. Well, we're going to do 2 today, but that's about it. And you can give that to your company and say, hey, check this out. This is the idea I had. And they'll say, wow, this is really cool. Let's spend the next 8 months making this game. So it's a prototyping tool. But all the stuff you do in GameMaker happens to be all the same stuff that you do in real life, including these terms. Anyone heard of this before? A sprite?
No.
That's a game term, a sprite. No, we're not talking the soft term here. Okay, what's a sprite?
Oh, it's the sheets of like animations they have. Like they're made from pixels, and
Yeah, so you get a sprite sheet full of them.
oh, do they give away like sprite sheets on this? Like, do they have free resources?
Yeah, or you can just go to Google Images. You get sprite sheets all over from there. But the cool thing is all a sprite is a two-dimensional graphic. Mario's a sprite, Space Invaders are sprites, two-dimensional graphics. If they're three-dimensional, we call them a model. That's game terminology. Game Maker only is two-dimensional, which most games in the mobile platform are for anyway, right? And for a prototype, more than enough. So sprites are two-dimensional two-dimensional graphics. Wait a second. So if we're gonna make Galaga, Galaga takes place where?
Space.
In space. So we need a background, right? And that background should be space, right?
Yeah.
I've made all those graphics for you, okay? And uploaded them to GitHub. But the thing is I'm going to go through some of these steps. And if I go too fast, don't worry, because what do you get at the end of the day? A link to the step-by-step instructions. So I'm going to go over here to Game Maker. If I want to make a background, which is the first thing you should think about, right-click backgrounds and create a background. And we'll call it space background because Galaga is in space, and we can load it from a file. So I'm going to click load background. Oh, and look at that. I've got it in the demo files. And if you look at it, can you see the little tiny dots?
So that's just a GIF file, is that what it is?
Yeah, it's just a PNG file. I'll put it in the demo file. Right? And so if you look at that, you got little dots there. We're good. It's just a graphic. It's just an image, right? It's a background. But that background has to be loaded when your game gets loaded. And in proper game terminology, we call that a game loop. But in Game Maker, they call it your room. Your first level is your first room. Your second room is your second level, that kind of thing, right? So let's go down to rooms, and we'll create a room called Space Room. So we'll call it Space Room. And there's a problem here, though. Can you guys see the problem? Looks a little different. It's a little shorter than our space, isn't it? What if we go back here to space background? What was the size of our space background?
640 by 640?
Yeah, do you see 640 by 640 there? 640 pixels by 640 pixels. Now let's go back to our space room. What's the size? 640 by 480. Can we change it? Yes, we can. Yeah, that looks better, right? And we can go over here to backgrounds, and I can select my background, so my room will have a space background. And if we played our game right now, by selecting the check mark, and clicking that little play button that's green over here, see that? Run the game. You'll notice one thing, our game is extremely boring. Very boring. It doesn't do anything. And what's wrong with the space? It looks nice, but what should space be doing? Yeah, space is always expanding, as you can see on level 3. So if we go back here to our space room, notice how we selected our background here? What can we give it? How about we give it a vertical speed? What does vertical mean? Up and down, right? Horizontal is up and right, vertical is up and down. So let's give it a vertical speed of 2. That's nice and slow, space-like slow. And see what happens now if we play the game. Is that a bit better? Ooh, nice. So it's moving, oh yeah. And we're not going to stop there though, although I'm sure some people could play that for hours.
I think some iPhone games trick people into buying like some things that are just like that.
Yeah, that'll be a 99-cent game. So, on that note, guys, here, what do we need? We need to have, what's the thing in Galaga? It's a spaceship, and it's at the bottom and it goes left and right. So we need a picture of the spaceship first. What's that called in game terminology?
Sprite.
Sprite. So let's right-click sprites, create a sprite. We'll call it ship sprite, and we're going to load it from a file. And look at that, I've got a ship sprite right there. And look at that. Now, if you look very carefully, it's hard to see, but our ship is kind of white with little red things on the important parts. But the background is a checkerboard, a gray and white checkerboard. Can you kind of see that? It's easier next time. The next time we load, yeah. So there's a gray and white checkerboard. That means that the graphic is transparent. So if we put this ship on our space, it's not going to be a square with white. It's going to be our ship, and everything around the ship will be the black space. See that? Yeah. Okay, cool. Now, a sprite doesn't do anything. It's just a graphic. If we want that ship to do stuff, like move left if I press the left key, move right if I press the right key on the keyboard, we need to turn it into an object, and that's a game term as well. So a sprite doesn't do anything until it's turned into an object. Let's go down to objects here. Let's make an object. We'll call it ship object. Always use good names.
Is there a way where you can mix
Choose
the
our ship
animations together where, like, I know the ship doesn't have any visual animations in
We're
it.
gonna do that with the bad guys, because they're animated.
Oh, right.
And explosions. We gotta have explosions. Do you guys agree?
Yeah.
The
Why
whole
are all
point
the
of video-
sprites so like poorly pixelated? Why don't you have like?
This is 1981, man.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
This is true to the original downstairs. We're talking, this is high tech for 1981. And it's both the limit of my Microsoft Paint skill. All right, so.
Oh, so you did use Microsoft Paint.
Oh, you can do it anything. We even have made 8-bit art sprite stations downstairs, made by a friend of mine. So, because it's so easy to do, but she did it already, so I just said, can I use yours? So, we made an object called ship object, and it will be displayed as a ship sprite. So this object will show up as this picture of a ship. And the great thing is we can add events. So down here where it says add event, I can click on that, and we could say if you hold down the keyboard key left, if you hold down that left keyboard key, we can drag an action over here. See that first action? Move fix. Let's move left at a speed of 10. Wow.
What's 10?
Just fast enough for Galaga. I had to play around with it. 12 was a little too fast, 5 was really slow. 10 was just like Galaga. Trial and error. I did it before 10. Okay, and let's add another one. So can we do it for right? So if we hold down the right key, we're gonna move right at a speed of 10. There we go, which is just okay. 11 sounds a little weird, but 11 is a little bit better. So that's not too bad. Here's the funny thing, if I hold down the left key and it moves left, what happens if I take my finger off the key? What should happen? It should stop, but it won't. Because you never told it to do that. You actually have to think of every case as a programmer. So let's add an event, keyboard event. This time, if I don't hold down any key, that's called no key. You see that? No key. If I don't hold down any key, no key, I'm going to move nowhere, right in the middle, speed of 0. Yeah. Oh, here's something else. What happens if we get to the edge of our room? My 640 by 640 pixel room. It should stop, but it won't. It'll go on forever. You can tell it to wrap around. A lot of 80s games did that. What's another 80s game that did that? Pac-Man. Galaga didn't wrap around, but I mean, it's cooler when it does. So let's say, let's add another event. It'll be intersect boundary. If I intersect the boundary of our screen, of our background, of our room, if I intersect that boundary, what should happen? Look at this one over here. What's that called? Wrap screen. Wrap around the other side horizontally. Cool, eh? Horizontal is? Nothing right. Not bad. Who wants to play this now?
I do.
Okay, so let's press OK, and let's add a ship to our room. Where are the ships in Galaga? Near the bottom. So let's put them right there. And let's save our changes, and let's play that game. Oh, look at that. And if I take my fingers off, it stops. If I go, it wraps. Look at that.
If I shoot.
Oh,
Yeah, I can tell.
what key is commonly used for shooting? Yeah. Did we tell it to do anything with the spacebar? No. Who wants to do that now?
I did.
Okay.
Oh, don't you need like
Thanks
a
to
bullet
this guy,
strike?
we're going to continue on. Otherwise, we're going to cut the session. All right, so what do we need first? We need a picture of a missile that goes from our good guy, our ship, up to the bad guy. So we'll call that good missile. What's that? What's the picture called? A two-dimensional picture is called a sprite. So let's create a sprite. We'll call it good missile sprite. And we'll load it from a file, and yes, I've already got it made. Look at that, good missile sprite. And can you tell it's transparent now? This is a lot easier than the ship. Can you see the checkerboard behind that little tiny missile? Looks like a sword almost. But there we go, and that's high-tech graphics for the 80s, just so you know. So I'm going to press OK, but a missile, a sprite is just a picture. It doesn't do anything till you turn it into an object. So let's make an object called good missile object. And we'll choose our good missile sprite, which it'll display as. And what should this do? Well, as soon as this missile is created, it should start flying up really, really fast. So, as soon as it's created, see that, create, it should start moving up really fast. Now, what's really fast? About 40. 45? Do I hear 47?
100.
50, 100 too fast.
100.
50, 52?
50.
51. 153.
56?
55.
Okay, 56 it is. There we go.
55.
Too late. 56 points. Okay, so there we go. 56 is good enough. 100 is too much. I already tried it. It's too fast.
It'd be awesome.
50s is good, right? So there we go. That's not too bad. But ooh, if you keep firing, what happens when it leaves the top of our screen? Does it keep on moving forever? Think of it. Games only do what you tell them to do. Yes, it will move forever. And you know what's going to happen? If you fire 100 times, 1,000 times, those missiles are still flying, and they're getting further and further away and using up more and more RAM and CPU cycles. And your computer slows down, and freezes. That's called a memory leak. So anything that does not appear on our screen that we don't need anymore, we should always destroy. Can we tell those missiles to destroy themselves if they go out of the screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that. So that's called, hold on a sec, other outside room. If that good missile gets outside the room, it should destroy itself. That's a recycle bin, by the way, Game Maker. Look at that. Drag the recycle bin over, destroy itself. Self-destruct. So it uses the resources, right? We won't see it self-destruct. It just happens, but if you don't do that, your game will slow down. Shoot.
I think it should explode up at the top of the screen.
Oh, so just when it hits it, just boom. You know what?
That'd be cool.
You can do that soon.
More explosions.
I'll show you how to do it at the end of the session. But I want you guys to explore. It's very easy to make games. So, there we go. Not too bad, right? So that's our missile. What should fire this missile? Our ship. And what should we press for that ship to fire this missile? Spacebar is the biggest key. That's what we use it for firing, right? Now, some kids in the last session said, well, WASD and Z is... Okay. Yeah, you might play games with those keys. But left and right and spacebar, universally easiest, right? So we'll keep those. So you can do them in here if you want. So let's go to our ship object again. And in our ship object, if you remember, it says if you go left, if you press left, it'll go left. You press right, go right. Don't press any key, it stops. And if it goes to the boundary, intersect boundary, it wraps around the other side. Let's add something. If I press the spacebar, but don't do a keyboard event. That's if you hold down the key. If you fire, you want to be able to press the spacebar 3 times real fast and fire 3 missiles.
Key press.
A key press event happens only when you press down on the key. So if you press down on it 3 times, you fire 3 missiles. It's not holding it down, it's pressing it each time. So key press, spacebar. If I press the spacebar, what am I going to do? I'm going to make an instance of another object. That's a little light bulb. Drag that over, create an instance of which object? A good missile. And it's very important that you create this good missile relative to where your ship is. Because if you don't, it'll create it in the upper left-hand corner, you're never going to see it. It flies over it. Relative to your ship, so it'll create it right at your ship so it looks like being fired by a ship. And as soon as that good missile is created, it starts going up real fast. So let's try it. Who wants to try the game now?
I do.
Okay, let's play it. Oh yeah, look at that, eh?
It's a little bit too fast, I think.
Yeah, can we slow it down by changing that from 56 to 50?
35.
35, that's a little, well, if you want to, we can do it. Let's see what the result is, guys.
45.
Let's go to our good missile, and instead of moving up at 56, how about 45? I heard that in the back. And let's see what happens there. Much better?
Yeah.
That's more like Galaga speed. Not bad at all. Now here's the benefit of doing objects. We think in terms of objects today. That's no mistake. Because